Samson was a mighty man and could kill a lion with his bare hands, like it was just another Tuesday. Dude was bored one time and decided to flex some muscles by ripping an entire city gate off its hinges and carried it up a hill, for fun. By any measure, he was the strongest man who ever lived. But here's what nobody puts on the poster. Bro was really cracked. He could not, for the life of him, make one good decision, not even one. He is, biblically speaking, undefeated in two completely opposite categories at the same time. Strongest man alive. Worst decision-making alive. And this eventually led to his brutal death. So the real question isn't how strong was Samson, it's how did a man built like a walking weapon keep getting outsmarted by literally everyone around him? Today, we're counting every single way Samson managed to ruin his own life. Stick around, the tally gets embarrassing. Bible Yap. Part 2. Let's start with Exhibit A, his own wedding. 7 days of feasting, 30 Philistine groomsmen at the table, and Samson stands up unprovoked and makes a bet. I've got a riddle. Solve it by the end of the feast. I give you 30 sets of clothes. Can't solve it? You give me 30 sets of clothes. The groomsmen shake on it immediately because nothing bad has ever come from betting against the strongest man on earth. The riddle. Out of the eater came forth food. Out of the strong came forth sweetness. Everyone looked at one another, wondering where the heck he got that from. Frustrated by their cluelessness, the unhinged groomsmen corner Samson's brand new wife and threaten to burn her father's house down unless she gets the answer out of him. She cries at Samson for 7 straight days until he caves and tells her. She tells them. Right on schedule, the groomsmen stroll in with the answer. What's sweeter than honey? What's stronger than a lion? Samson felt betrayed and told them, Y'all silly cheaters, if you hadn't asked my pressed my shoddy, there's no way y'all would have gotten that. Then he walks out, slays 30 innocent men living their lives in the next town to steal their clothes and pay the bet, and storms off so mad he skips the honeymoon entirely. Samson was low-key unhinged, and this was just one of countless times dude cooked his own future without even realizing it. But to understand how he got this unhinged in the first place, we've got to rewind, all the way back to before he was even born. To understand that, back up. Israel is under Philistine occupation, 40 years of it. The Philistines run the region, and fun historical detail. At one point, they won't even let Israelites own blacksmiths, so nobody can sharpen a sword without walking into enemy territory to do it, which in Iron Age terms means imagine your oppressor also owns the only hardware store. Into this mess, an angel shows up to a woman who can't have kids and says she's about to have a very specific baby, but not a regular baby. He would be a Nazirite from birth. The angel gave her 3 rules, non-negotiable. No wine, no cutting his hair ever, and no touching dead bodies. The whole point of the vow is that the baby would be set apart for God. God was literally saying, this baby is mine and mine alone. After this, the woman meets her husband and tells him everything. But he finds this too good to be true because this really sounded like one of those Disney stories. He prays to God to send the same angel again to repeat the instructions to him too, just to be sure. Fast forward, the woman gives birth to the promised child. They name the kid, raise him right, and the text says God's spirit starts moving in him early. Good sign. Great sign, even. Everything going according to plan. Then Samson grows up into what I can only describe as peak himbo energy, and beat one of his adult decisions is walking up to his dad like, get me a Philistine wife, that one. Yeah, the one from the people we're currently at war with. His parents, understandably, go, is there seriously not one nice girl back home? And the Bible, notice this, just doesn't argue with them. Nobody in the text says, great idea, Samson. It's silence. It's the first hairline crack. On the way to go meet her, a young lion jumps him. No weapon, no backup, just Samson. And he rips it apart with his bare hands like it's a rotisserie chicken. Genuinely superhuman, also genuinely reckless, because he's walking alone through hostile territory to visit a woman his own parents warned him against. And instead of taking the hint from God basically dropping a lion on him, he just keeps walking. Later, he passes the lion's corpse again, and there's a beehive inside it dripping with honey. Samson goes, paraphrasing, but only slightly, "Let me have a taste of that, why not?" He eats honey out of a decomposing lion carcass. Quick refresher, that's a direct violation of Nazirite rule number 3. No touching the dead. The strongest, most divinely set-apart man alive, casually snacking off his own vow like it's a suggestion and not a promise. Red flag count 1. And he hasn't even gotten married yet. And from here, it basically does not stop. The riddle bet, already covered, Exhibit A. He loses it because his own wife cracked under pressure, pays off the bet by murdering 30 strangers he's never met, storms out mad, and skips his own honeymoon, which naturally makes his father-in-law assume the marriage is over. So he hands Samson's wife off to the best man instead. Nobody tells Samson this part. He shows up later with a gift, like a normal reconciliation attempt, and finds out he's been replaced. Red flag 2. Though at this point, it's genuinely hard to tell if Samson's the red flag or if he's just surrounded by people worse than him. Revenge round 1. Samson catches 300 foxes. 300. Someone had an unbelievably strange week doing that. Ties them tail to tail in pairs with a torch wedge between each pair, and lets them loose in the Philistine grain fields. In agricultural terms, Samson just invented the world's first fox-powered arson drone strike. Vineyards, olive groves, an entire season's harvest, gone overnight. The Philistines retaliate by burning his ex-wife and her father alive, which is horrifying and also somehow just escalation round 2. Because Samson's response is, direct quote, "striking them hip and thigh with a great slaughter." The narrator is not exaggerating for effect. This is Tuesday now. At this point, Samson's own people get so nervous about him stirring up their occupiers that Israel's own leaders tie him up themselves and hand him over to the Philistines just to make the problem go away. Samson, tied with brand new rope, snaps it like wet string and clears out 1,000 men solo, with the jawbone of a donkey. Somehow, still not his most reckless move this section. Next, Samson visits a prostitute in the Philistine city of Gaza. Word gets out. The Philistines lock the city gates and post guards to kill him at sunrise. So Samson gets up at midnight, walks to the gate, doors, posts, crossbar, the whole frame, rips it clean off the wall, and carries it on his shoulders to a hilltop miles away, just to prove he could leave whenever he felt like it. Main character energy. Zero sense of self-preservation. And then, Delilah. This is the one everyone's been waiting for, so let's set it up like a game show, because at this point, it basically is one. Welcome to Spot the Pattern, where every single contestant except Samson can see exactly what's happening. Round 1, Delilah asks what it would actually take to tie him down for real. He says 7 fresh bowstrings. She ties him up with 7 fresh bowstrings while armed men wait in the next room. He snaps them like burnt thread. Round 2, brand new rope, never used. Same trap, same men next door, snaps it like wet spaghetti. Round 3, weave my hair into your loom. She does it while he's asleep. He wakes up and just rips the loom out of the wall. Somehow, 3 assassination attempts, same woman, same house. Still not a pattern Samson can spot. Round 4, Delilah stops asking nicely and just wears him down, nags him day after day, pressing him until his soul was vexed to death, which in relationship terms means he finally caves from sheer exhaustion. He tells her everything, the hair, the vow, the whole thing from birth. Red flag count, officially uncountable. She shaves his head while he sleeps. He wakes up assuming he can fight like always. And then comes one of the most devastating lines in the whole book. He did not know that the Lord had departed from him. The Philistines gouge out his eyes, chain him in bronze, and put him to work grinding grain in a prison, a job normally reserved for animals. The strongest man who ever lived, blind, shackled, walking in circles for a mill. Here's the turn. And it's easy to miss if you're only watching for the muscle. The vow was never actually about hair. Cutting it didn't remove his strength like flipping a switch. His strength was always tied to his obedience. and the hair was just the last visible thread of a vow he'd already been unraveling for years. The wine, the dead lion's honey, the foreign entanglements, piece by piece, he'd already been letting go of set apart. The haircut was just the moment it became visible, which means the real story isn't strongman loses his strength. It's a man who kept treating a sacred calling like a technicality he could get around, right up until there was nothing left to get around. And here's the part that actually lands. In prison, his hair starts growing back. Nobody's watching for that detail, but the text is. The Philistines drag him out to their temple to entertain a crowd celebrating their god Dagon for defeating him. Thousands of people on the roof in the stands watching the blind Israelite get mocked for sport. Samson asks a servant to place him between the two central pillars, holding the whole roof up. And he prays, not a demand, a request, "Remember me, God, strengthen me one more time." Then he pushes. The pillars give. The entire temple collapses. On the crowd, on the leadership, on himself. The text says he killed more Philistines in his death than in his whole life. Strength given back, one final time. Not because he'd earned it, because it was never really his to begin with, which, honestly, is the whole point. Samson spent his entire life leaning on strength he never actually earned, right up until the very last thing he ever leaned on. You know, what else could use a push like that? This channel's subscriber count. No temple required, no eyes required, just the button. Right there, small. Boring, does not require the Spirit of the Lord to operate. That's Samson, strongest man who ever lived, and living proof that muscle was never the part God was after. If you want the stories nobody puts in the storybook version, you know what to do. Subscribe and we'll see you for part 3.